ED bans me from my little siblings' lives because I wouldn't meet him on his terms, Part 1. Hawaii. So I, 31M, was raised mostly by my grandparents. My mom, 50F, lived with us, but was verbally abusive and somewhat absent. My dad, 51M, never lived with me and wasn't involved in my day-to-day life. He and my mom never married, and I lived only with my grandparents starting in 10th grade. My dad had custody of my younger half-brother, now 27M, and eventually married my second stepmom, 50F, who had 2 kids of her own. Together, they also had 2 younger children who are now 13 and 8. Growing up, my dad rarely showed up to my sports games, school events, or even Father's Day. He rarely contributed financially. I found out when I was 18 that he had been failing to keep up with his child support, and when I confronted him about it, he blew up on me and said he wished he never met my mom. He then ghosted me for 6 months until I reached out again on his birthday, trying to be the bigger person. From my late teens through my 20s, I was always the one initiating contact. Despite moving almost 2 hours away for university, I was the one planning visits, buying gifts for his younger kids, reaching out for birthdays, holidays, etc. He rarely reciprocated. I've only ever been invited to a few things. When I moved out in 2021 with my partner, after uni I moved back with my grandparents for a few years, I started pulling back a bit. At that point, I had also started therapy for physical and mental health issues, and began unpacking a lot of family trauma. My half-brother, his son 27M, went no contact with him 5 years ago and moved out due to physical abuse, verbal abuse. And I also found out that similar things happened with his ex, my first stepmom, and my mom. Knowing this, I didn't feel safe being emotionally vulnerable with him, especially because he tends to lash out when confronted. In 2023, I reached out to make Christmas plans like I always do, and my stepmom said my dad was sick. I followed up a few weeks later, offering to drop off gifts for the kids, but didn't get a response for another month. When my dad finally replied, it was out of the blue. He said my stepsister, 22F, and him got into an argument, and she made a comment that I wanted nothing to do with him, and then texted me, "Have a nice life." I clarified that I never said that, and tried to have a real conversation about how distant our relationship has been. I asked if we could meet one-on-one. He said he'd get back to me. I also asked what happened between them, but he wouldn't tell me. Part 2 is already out. Check my channel.